on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's night. I'm back. 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 All right. Anyways, what's going on though? How you guys doing? You guys doing good? I'm doing good. He's still not there. Daddy Bro's still not available yet. And I know that Psych Ward will be here shortly. I'm over here still eating my chow. What can I say? Anyways, how's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody's doing good. Oh, there he is with his tardy butt. Let's get him in there. There he is. Everybody's least favorite Coast Guard. Psych Ward.
What's up, guys? Something's off with our video today. Like normally it has my name and all that stuff. It made me input all that today.
I don't know.
Like none of my backgrounds on here or nothing.
I don't know. I got nothing. Everything worked just fine for me. Haha. It's what is it called when it's not racist, but it's militaryist. It's that Coast Guard thing.
Drawn in stick figures? Army? What?
No. All right.
Point at the doll. He touched me here. Where? What?
Oh, that's the Marines. Oh, no, Navy. If you said he, that's Navy. Air Force would have been if you said she.
Oh, okay.
Yep, that's how it works, man.
Got it. I'm looking for. Like I said, all my backgrounds are normally on here. They're not on here for some reason. It's all messed up today, man.
It's all right. We're still waiting for Daddy Bro too. He just had to go and help Belle with something. His wife. But we're live. We're live at least.
That's good.
Anyways, we got some exciting news for everybody. Look at that. There's your background. I didn't know you were so Aztec.
That's right.
Now we know. So anyways, got some big news though. VD4GM finally got certs. We finally got official with the state of Texas. We got everything back. It took forever. We started in September. Finally got everything back today. I should have everything in the mail coming soon, which I'm excited to see. And yeah. So
did the state send it to you via virtual?
That I got an email from LegalZoom today.
Okay. You should be able to go in. So whatever number that they gave you, you can go to the state, put that number in, and print out your documents there.
Yeah, but LegalZoom has like this fancy. Oh, I gotta get. Look who's back. Look who's back. Sorry. Oh, he's looking at the ceiling.
No, I was looking at my third monitor. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. I don't know. You looked really focused. What were we focused on?
Just trying to read something.
Okay.
Wifey had a bit of a moment, so I put her in the living room, and the kid's gonna watch a movie with her.
There you go. So, yeah, VD4GM is official now. That only took 6 months or 6 months.
What are we eating?
My leftovers from Joe T. Garcia in Fort Worth.
Oh, you bastard!
Mm-hmm.
You didn't bring me any. What's wrong with you?
Dude, it's delicious. That's all I can say.
I got me some Dutch Brothers quality coffee tonight.
Dutch Brothers.
Nice.
A little bit of that Dutch oven. That's what it is.
Got me a double torture large. Yum yum.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be up all night because I'm playing some State of the K2 tonight. So
nice.
I still can't get frickin' Nightingale to work. It's pissing me off.
Oh, speaking of games,
I didn't break it.
yep, fair enough. What about Enshrouded? Have you heard of Enshrouded?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've never played.
It's a lot like, so reminds me of Minecraft, but not so much. Like,
Really?
yeah, it really does. You're building it, you're killing monsters, and all kinds of stuff. It's very similar, very similar.
Huh.
Let me move this up a little bit. There we go.
Well, maybe I'll have to take a look.
It's good. I enjoy it.
I'm telling you, Nightingales is it's phenomenal, but the crafting is out of control because there's like probably like 60 different elements to it. Like there's different stations, stuff for mortar, stuff for alchemy, and then you can upgrade those stations plus add augments to them, and then it does different things. It gives you different qualities and stuff.
Right.
And you build your characters. It's just it's crazy, man.
It sounds like Space Engineers.
Yeah, no, it's really not. It's more like Minecraft meets Skyrim. Is really what it reminds me of.
Okay.
Because you have all these quests, and they call you a realm walker, and you're dealing with this thing called the Fae, and the Fae is like, you've heard of Puck from Uberon, right? From Midsummer Night's Dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He is your main guy. He's the guy that you communicate with. He kind of leads you around through this realm, and he's part of the Fae. And there's the summer court and the winter court, and there's a couple other stuff. But his role is he's kind of like the one that puts you in this realm, and you move. And what they mean by realm is like planets.
Right.
So you move from realm to realm through these portals, and as you go, it gets it obviously gets harder. And some of them, like there's desert areas, and if you have this, it's kind of like a magical umbrella where you can kind of float through the air and shit. And when you're in the desert, if you don't have your umbrella above your head, you literally overheat in like 2 seconds.
Oh.
So it's a bitch. And you don't want to get over, there's some areas are like swamps, and you don't want to get really wet, because if you get wet, then half your gear doesn't work, and it's a real pain in the ass.
Oh, damn.
It's a fantastic game, but it's one of those slogs. You're going to be there playing for a long time,
Right.
So I figure I'll play some State of Decay tonight, probably till about 2, and then from 2 to 7, I'm gonna play Nightingale by myself.
Nice.
Because I can't get it to work, and it's pissing me off, and I still want to play.
That's fair.
I've been trying to upgrade my shit. It's making me crazy. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to get off on a tangent.
No, I mean tangents are allowed here.
Yeah, well, it's
this is a safe space.
It really does remind me of D&D in a lot of ways, because the augments you choose, really determine how strong your gear gets. Like you can basically mine different ores, and then you put them in a smelter, and then you can actually put etchings on them, which makes them more powerful. And then you can combine them. Like you can make bronze, you need 2 different types of metals. It's crazy detailed. It's stupid detailed. Every single animal you kill, every plant fiber you pull, they all have different levels and meanings.
Yeah,
I mean, I think you guys would probably really like it, because it really reminds me of D&D in a lot of ways.
We might have to look into it.
The graphics are fantastic, and it's
Neverwinter, right?
No, Nightingale.
Nightingale. Now,
yeah.
What was I thinking? Neverwinter.
I don't know. I know that game too, but that's totally different. Yeah. And of course, Civ 7's out, but I'm not paying $80 to play a damn Civilization game. That ain't gonna happen. That's too much. It looks really good, by the way. I got some friends that baited it, and they're like, "Oh, this game's so good."
Yeah, but Civ 6 looked amazing too. And then when it released, it was like, "Oh, but this looks just like every other Civ game."
Well, this one isn't. 7 is not. It's complete. Okay. They redid the engine. The AI is so much better now. So you better have your, if you want to play at the high levels, you better know your stuff, or you're going to get your head kicked. I got a friend who's he's been nerding out Civ since Civ 1. He's that guy.
Right. Yeah.
And he put it on. He's like, "Oh, I can handle this." He put it on the hard level. He lasted like 150 turns. He got his head kicked in.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Dude, what's going on?" He goes, "I don't know. I don't understand what just happened." And I was like, "Oh, somebody wants to play." It's pretty awesome. Nice. I really like when AI gets smart like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of scary too. Because
speaking of AI,
what'd you do?
Oh yeah,
we were talking about building our nonprofit bylaws, right? And we set a goal to have everything done by like end of July, because we have that fake con that we got invited to, and we have like a free space there and stuff that we can go do like a game at and all that stuff. Like everything's been given to us there. So we were like, the goal was like get everything in place so we can like tell everybody what we're doing, have everything in place to where if we want to expand, we have the bylaws written, all that stuff.
Right.
So we were like, let's set like a realistic goal of like end of July. So I'm watching like some YouTube stuff, and they're like AI, like blah blah blah, like do this, do that, and I was like, this can't be too hard to figure out. So I went on and I played with Chat GPT,
Yeah.
and then I jumped on Grok 3, and I started playing around with Grok 3,
Uh-oh.
and I developed our bylaws in 1 minute and 20 seconds.
That's about right. Yeah, it should honestly, if you do it, and I would have said to you, if you told me I would have done it that way anyway to begin with, because
Well,
it's going to be cleaner.
At first we were like, we need to go through and look at like
all of them.
other nonprofits have done. They're very similar, like we were looking at it from that aspect. But then what I did is I gave a prompt to chat GPT on what we wanted to create. It pushed out a really good purpose and mission statement with the bylaws. So then I took that purpose and I cleaned it up a little bit, and I took the purpose statement and I wrote the prompt for Grok 3 on our bylaws. And I dropped in our purpose statement that stated like, this is our purpose statement of the nonprofit. And it dropped in everything, like everything we needed, including like the training that the DM should have to deal with PTSD. It dropped in like the information about like, it just covered everything like on its own. Like, and
Right.
so of course we're still going through it. Like the thing with the AI is like, it'll do a great job, but there's always going to be something you got to go in and like tweak or whatever, which is fine. The idea is we're using it to give us the foundation to start with to work off of. So,
well, the Chinese now have your bylaws, so be careful.
that's all right. I mean, what are they going to do?
Copy it.
Try to help their veterans? I mean,
no, because all they
no, all of
burgers.
Yeah, I was going to say all of their veterans are dying, aren't they?
They're like Soylent. It's like Soylent over there.
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever. Well, Grok 3 is US owned, right?
Sure.
So, well, supposedly.
You keep
Anyways,
believing that?
I thought Grok 3 was actually Tesla.
It's Elon
Musk.
In a roundabout, yeah, more or less.
But anyways, I don't care. Like, it's our nonprofit. Like, if they want to copy our nonprofit, let them. Like,
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Now the other thing I used it for was interesting. So I did that. I asked it like what roles we should have and what the different roles are. So it like pushed all that out. I asked it like to develop articles of incorporation.
Yep.
I asked it to like all that stuff, right? It just pushed all that stuff out really well. And the biggest part is learning. What I learned how to do well so far is how do you want to write the prompt to get what you want out of the AI. So I've gotten to the point now where I was like, okay, let me test some of this. And so I was like, give me like an adventure based on this idea, and I gave it the prompt and all that stuff, and it wrote me a level 1 D&D adventure with all the monsters, with how much time each section should take, with where all the information came out of, with like names and all. It did everything for me. Like, and I literally had an adventure written in like, with the time of writing the prompt and everything, probably like 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's about right.
Which is awesome.
This is why we banned it in college, because these little fuckers are using it to make their papers. So the problem I have with Chat GPT and all these are they tend to be overly verbose.
Mm-hmm.
They use a specific pattern in their language that you can kind of pick up on it if you know what you're looking at. The good news is, if you take you obviously did the legwork. If you take the time to learn the proper Boolean statements, you can do anything. This right here is the biggest MBA killer in the history of man.
Yep.
Chat GPT is going to put the MBA programs of the world, business programs of the world, out of business because you don't need to know that shit no more. You got a computer that can do it for you. Seriously.
The only thing that I would say that you don't get out of it is most of your executive MBA programs are people that have had years of knowledge in the business already, and then they go through the program and they add to the program in like the curriculum that gets taught.
Right.
So I think that you lose some of that, and then also the networking and all that stuff that goes along with it.
Well,
But
I mean,
but as far as like the knowledge, yeah, like building out the articles and like in 2 or 3 years ago, you would have had to pay somebody to write all that for you,
yeah,
or go
big
do the
money.
legwork to
I
do
know
it
people that
yourself.
made businesses out of that.
And now it's like, okay, well, now I can just develop everything AI. And there's a lot of businesses that are using AI for their products
Yep, and they should.
because they understand how to write the prompt, how to get the exact thing that they want to get out of it. So, anyways, what I thought was interesting was I wrote this adventure. I told it what I wanted it to be. It's around that world that I'm building where like you're trying to like keep the logistics of all the magical components and all that stuff in order.
Right.
And after I was done, I was like, let's see how much this thing has learned, right? Because I already told it about roll the hill. I'd already told it about like all this stuff. And so I simply gave it a command of create a potion out of this item that you said was in this adventure, and make it speak to roll the hill's purpose. And it created a potion that literally told you afterwards, like it created the potion, told you what it was, and at the end it was like, this is why it fits your purpose. And like it gave like a presentation of like, it was like, well, I've got it up here. Let me read it really quick. It was really
That's awesome.
interesting. Is it the beacon one? No. Harvest. Moon petal blossoms. Well, anyways, I told it to like go in and write this stuff out, and it even gave. So I was like, okay, it gave me information on the room layout and all that, right? Like in like to give like the description. So then I told it, use the room layout information to generate a prompt for Mid Journey, and Grok 3 did that for me. I took the prompt from Grok 3 and dropped it into Mid Journey, and it created like awesome pictures for me.
That's sick, man. And they have AI that can actually generate this shit too. Like
Yeah.
there are specific AIs that are developed just to make diagrams, pictures, things of that nature.
Yeah, well, Mid Journey is just for pictures.
Yeah, okay.
And so like when I told it to make that, because it told me I can create a picture, but that's not like, it literally told me like, that's not my thing. Like, that's not what I do. And so then I told it, I was like, okay, well then create a prompt for me based off what you said to use in Mid Journey. And so it created a prompt, and I dropped it
Nice.
in Mid Journey, and it like gave me some awesome, like,
Some art.
detailed pictures.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
So I'm learning it, right? But the idea is, then I went back in, I said, okay, create a 2-hour adventure that we can use at a conference or at a convention. And it created it, and it told me like, this is what you should put up, is like the informationals and all that stuff, and like why you're doing it, and then like how you could actually like record it and all that stuff, and then have like a live play that loops itself on a TV at the convention. And like
Nice.
it went through all this stuff, and then it had like all these prompts you could lay out. And then I told it to use that information to generate handouts for both players and the people at the convention. And it created in Mid Journey handouts that actually had all the information like on the actual like adventure that we were running at that point. So anyways, and they're not just like standard handouts, they're like burnt edges, and like they look like
I
really
get
good. Yeah. So
and I'll tell you right now, it's only going to get better.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is
Well,
still
what I
insane.
thought was crazy was, after I'd told it a few things, as long as you stay right now, and I think this will probably become a premium thing. If you leave Grok 3 and you come back, everything you wrote before is gone. So as long as you save your prompts that you used, you're good, because you can just drop the prompts back in and like start off where you left off, right? But when I was continuing to write stuff, because I asked it to generate like a pitch for grants, I asked it to generate, and I just kept doing stuff because it was like, I didn't even have to tell it anymore that I was doing it for Roll the Hill, because it was adding that in, because that's what it knew. That's what I was talking about previously. And so it literally drafted a grant pitch for Roll the Hill for the specific Fate Con that we're going to, on everything we would need there, including cost of things and everything. So just super excited that like it saves us so much time.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Then and look, this is look. I've been studying AI for over 20 years. Shh, don't tell. You know, when I was at University of West Florida, I worked with a guy by the name of Dr. Ford. Dr. Ford is one of the foremost. Basically, he's one of the granddaddies of AI. He was my academic advisor. Guy's a maniac, by the way. And when we looked at this 20 years ago, we were talking about this kind of stuff. The application is insane.
Yep.
Now imagine this in the healthcare industry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was, now this is back in the day, I'm talking way back in the day. They have I can't remember what it's called, but it's a specific AI program, and what it is specifically designed to do is to look at encephalocardiograms and echocardiograms and all these different heart monitoring capabilities, and it can diagnose whether or not someone is either up for a stroke, a heart attack, etc., and what needs to be done to protect their heart type stuff in a matter of seconds. And it's more accurate than a human specialist. It had like and this was when it started in its infancy. It had like a 97% success rate, and so I'm telling you that the technology is crazy. And back then, that was when it was really babyish, and now the problem they're running into, and this is going to be a problem going forward, is how do we provide the power that is necessary for AI to do what it wants to do? Because it needs you're talking a warehouse full of neural networks and stuff to be able to do the calculations that it does.
So what'll be interesting is when it can learn how to, if the AI can teach itself how to compress everything that it's used and only reference what it needs at that moment.
It already does that.
Does it? Yeah.
And 10 years ago they were doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't want to get too nerdy on it. Are you familiar with neural networks and how they function?
Somewhat. I mean, I've learned some of it. Yeah, I learned a lot of it in psychology courses.
Okay, so picture a neural network is kind of like a physical, it's a physical string of what the human brain would actually look like. Believe it or not, computers are based off of the human mind. CPU, GPU, all those things come from the concepts of how the human brain functions, because that's what humans can relate to. That's how we built it. Neural networks are kind of like an extension of that. And the way it works is these links are neurons. They grow and are built out as the AI learns. And so what it does, over a course of milliseconds, literally like less than 15 milliseconds probably, I don't know the exact rate, but it's probably in that neighborhood. It'll go through the entire range of the neural network, and it'll figure out which neurons are necessary and shortcut paths and which ones are just obtuse data. And the obtuse data ones, they basically turn off.
Yeah, I know I've read some really interesting stuff about like when it's tracing the path, there's like an electronic signal within the neurons that knows that that's the correct path it needs to follow. Yeah, it's really fairly interesting stuff. But yeah, I know I have a buddy that went to, and I would be interested to know if you know him. We can talk about it offline. But he went to University of Florida, and he does AI for ground penetrating radar to find oil.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so he developed all that stuff. Yeah, so
that's awesome.
The one that developed it for GE and all that stuff. So, anyways, but he lives up in New York now, but he went to University of Florida.
I went to West Florida, so I didn't go to. I wasn't a cool kid. I didn't go to Jackson. Okay. He was at a real school. I was a little dink school. No offense.
Yeah, because he was at he actually came out. He's from India originally, and he got like a visa to come over and work with this specific professor, and he got his doctorates out of University of Florida. But anyways, I was just what's the best way to put it? I guess I was extremely excited to see that something could be so easy to use and put out so much work in such a quick amount of time.
You just wait.
I
was gonna say.
It's just starting.
Well, and now that I know how to use it, like I've been digging into it more. It's like, you know what I did? I drafted it and I was like, well, make this potion for me. And it started talking about the monsters. And I was like, I wonder if I can draft an STL file. So I was like, create an STL file of a skeleton for me. And it did it. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, the coolest thing about it is it'll take you in directions that you might have gotten to eventually, but initially you probably wouldn't have thought of.
So I think that's the biggest part of it. We were talking about that earlier. the biggest part of it is it's presenting a foundation of ideas that we can then spark off of. And the idea is like on top of that, one of the things I've used so far was like I'll generate the original prompt. It spits out information and I'll be like, oh, I want to go more here. And so I'll tell it, use the previous information but add this or change this, and it'll do it for me. And I don't have to do the work. I'm just telling it what I want done differently. And yeah, it's been phenomenal. Like
That's awesome.
but anyway, so I was gonna this is what came out of this. So I was gonna read this off really quick. It'll take me like 5 minutes. So I'm gonna go from a traditional elevator pitch. I'm gonna go from the traditional elevator pitch for Roll to Hills to an intense elevator pitch to a super intense elevator pitch, and this is all from the Grok 3. So and from me prompting it. So this is the original elevator pitch. Imagine a place where veterans and first responders roll dice to heal. At Roll to Heal, we use tabletop role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons to create a safe haven that eases PTSD stress, rebuilds bonds, and sparks joy for those who served. Research shows TTRPGs reduce anxiety, boost connection, and restore hope. Our players go from isolation to camaraderie, one game at a time. With your support, we can extend this proven therapy, giving more heroes a chance to reclaim their story. Invest in Roll to Heal because every roll lifts a burden. That's the original pitch, which is good, right?
It's not bad.
So then this is the intense one. At Roll to Heal, veterans and first responders grab dice and charge into healing. Our D&D battles slam PTSD stress, wield fierce bonds, and ignite unstoppable joy. Science backs it. Heroes live it. They leap from shadow to squad in every clash. Your funding powers the surge. Join Roll to Heal and catapult their comeback. Roll by epic roll. Right? So there's like an intense one.
Ooh.
So this is the super intense. Roll to Heal throws veterans and first responders into the fray, dice in hand. They smash PTSD's grip, fuse ironclad bonds, and claw back joy from the abyss. Science proves it, their scars scream it. From darkness to warriors, every roll rips through isolation. Your cash fuels this war. Fund Roll to Heals and blast their demons to ash, one brutal game at a time.
Well, that should be in a movie right there.
Right.
That's it.
Somebody told me it sounded like a Michael Bay movie.
Yep.
Yeah, right. That's nuts, man.
So anyway,
this is a prime example of what AI is actually very capable of at this point in its infancy. It's only going to get smarter and better.
And it literally had a button at the bottom that said "Make it more intense." Like that's all I had to push.
Yeah.
Like I did it twice, and it gave me like intense, super intense. So, anyways,
that's awesome. Just
yeah.
be careful that you don't become AI, okay?
Right.
Because
he already is. What are you talking about?
He's animatronic. Is that what you're saying?
Hey, I wouldn't mind being Data. That's awesome.
You are Data. What are you talking about?
Well, I keep telling my wife if my buddy Elon, if he ever comes up with a robot that can move your consciousnly into a bot form, I'm on board.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I want to be immortal,
100%.
and I want to be humping washing machines.
But I want like four more versions of it. So if something starts to go wrong, I can jump to the other one.
Yeah, no, I get it. But I'm gonna be that robot chicken guy that's just banging the hell out of a washing machine.
Yep.
Yeah.
You need to get a Samsung. I've already destroyed the Whirlpool.
Right. I have a Samsung smart guy. I'm like, how do you know about my washer and dryer already? Creepy bastard.
So that's the AI side of it that I've done so far with Roll to Heal. The other cool thing is I've been continuing to try to reach out. Our area, like where we can actually game right now, is small, so it's a smaller pool of people, and so I haven't gotten as many people responding back the second time around in the Mesquite area. But I've had a lot of people reach out from like the Plano, Fort Worth side.
Okay.
And I've had people say we want to DM for you and all that stuff, and I just responded back. We want to get our bylaws in place first to make sure that we're good to go, and then we're happy to have you DM for us after we.
Well, now you got them.
Right. So yeah. Right. And so. So anyways, in doing all this, I was still looking for people in the area. And so I hit like all of the veteran sites. I hit all the D&D sites. I was just kind of hitting like all these different spots. We had a guy reach out to us, and we're going to go meet with him in the morning, that owns a company in Plano, and he has laptops at every table that have 3070s already in them. 65-inch screens built into the tables, and like that's what he does now. He's like a retired police officer, and they normally run law enforcement and military RPGs, but he said that they're designed to also be able to do D&D like crawls. So he said that he's going to donate a table to us once a month for free at his business.
Ooh.
So I was like, well, that's cool. So I'm going to ask him while we're there tomorrow, like, what's the cost of, because normally the games will be at least like every 2 weeks. So like
Right.
the free one, and then like, what's the cost of coming in and like using another afterwards, which would be fine. I don't mind us paying that. But it's just cool that like people are starting to reach out with all these like little things I didn't even know
Oh yeah.
were available.
Dude,
to
there's a
us.
world out there.
Yeah.
Like before I moved to Texas, I really looked in. I have a mutual friend who she's got more money than brains. And because I'm that MBA guy, she came to me and said, "Hey, I really want to buy a business near the University of Delaware because I lived right downtown Wilmington area."
Mhm.
And we looked at this business, and what we were going to do is have a hookah shop. Ah, there's a little kid.
Yep.
It's a ghost child. Oh.
Uh,
Anyway, so we were going to start a hookah shop that had large screen televisions, Xbox, PS4s, all that stuff set up. And, I did the cost analysis and all this. And I kept telling her, I'm like, look, if you do this, you're going to make a small fortune because college kids are stupid and they got nothing better to do but waste mommy and daddy's money, especially at UD because they're all rich kids. She ended up not doing it. But another friend of mine did something very similar, and he is making a mint.
Those were really, really popular in like,
Oh, yeah.
well, 10 years ago, they were super popular in Southern California and like San Francisco.
I remember I used to go to them.
Yeah.
That's where I got the idea. I mean, they had them all over San Diego.
Yeah.
There were like 7 of them on the strip. But someone getting it.
Yep.
Get at it, Dad.
Yeah,
Do
they're
your
both
thing.
out.
Time for the taser.
Yeah.
Hey, right? I wish.
Let's be Mark. Ask my girls; they know.
We'll see how the AI responds. How do I take care of my kids?
Spare the rod, spoil the child.
Right. So we got good responses back. We're gonna go meet with them. We have our second game, like official Royalty Hill game. We've now got, because of AI, like a membership sign in. We've got all that stuff, stuff developed. So, anyways, and also the other thing that I found was really cool that would have taken a lot of like research time was it found grants that are almost identical to what we're doing.
Yep.
So there's 3 grants now that we have that are spot on to exactly what we want to complete. The only thing it didn't know is I was asking about banking. It gave me some good advice, and it pulled up a lot of good banks. But then the one that it said was number 1 was Navy Federal. But when I contacted Navy Federal, they won't give us a nonprofit account unless it's only 100% veteran.
Right.
That's
So
where,
because
that's
we're
where
also
VD4GM
serving,
comes into play.
well, but so in doing so though, I found out about Truist, and then I found out like Truist is actually developed for nonprofits, and then Blix. I don't know if you've met Blix yet or not, but he's on he's one of the players that's at the table, and he's helping out with like Roll to Heal and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Anyways, he's prior Coast Guard as well, just retired, and his mom did a lot of nonprofit stuff as a treasurer at SMU, and also like is now the CFO of a nonprofit, and so has a lot of experience, a big nonprofit. And so he asked her, and she said Truist is the way to go, like just overall. But the only reason I got onto that was because it gave me the information, and once Navy Federal said no, and I started digging into Truist, because the good thing with Truist is when you get funding coming in, it actually helps the treasurer see like where the percentage of funding's going from like the grants that you receive and all this. So it like does all that for you internally, so you don't have to have an additional external platform to do all that off of. So anyways, yeah,
Just make sure you petition Elon properly so you get the money you want.
right, exactly.
Let his nerds know you're using AI; they'll love you. They'll be okay. Yeah, that's
exactly.
a good one. Because that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're fixing it
Well, that's why everybody's pissed because they're doing it, and I'm like, what'd you think was going to happen there, Skippy? I mean, and then they're bitch. I don't want to get riled up, but I'm just going to say they bitch about it, and I'm like, look, you don't have to have experience to do this stuff. You just got to have the proper knowledge base, and the proper knowledge base is AI driven.
It does help to know enough about it to create good prompts,
and that's what they've done.
Like if I wanted to build a feasibility analysis, like I know what I'm looking for in the feasibility analysis, so I know what to tell it to get for me. And if I didn't know anything about it and I said just develop me a feasibility analysis, it'd probably develop something, but it might not be as
in depth,
well polished.
And the thing is, and this is where knowing, we talked about this a minute ago, this is where knowing the proper prompting really matters. If you like, if I were to say make me a feasibility thing, right, it would say, okay, here's your options, and then I would have to direct it in such a way to get the specifics out of it that I want. And that's
but
what
if you start it already and say build a feasibility analysis around this type of business model,
so much better
for these specific things, and exactly, you tell it exactly what you want, and it'll spit it out for you.
That's in the long term, in the world now, that is what's going to separate the good companies from the really good companies. The people who understand how to do Boolean searches with AI are going to make lots and lots of money.
And here's another thing though, and a lot of people talk your trash all you want to. All right. Talk your trash all you want to. But a 19-year-old that knows how to work AI, he knows more than you. He knows more than you.
Yeah, because you're dumb and look, and I get into it with my paladin all the time. She's probably spent 30,000 hours in front of the stupid cell phone, right? It takes what, 20,000 hours to get good at something? I know I haven't come near those kind of hours. So when I have a real problem with the cell phone, I just go to her and she goes, oh, and there it is. Poof. And I'm like, God damn, I feel dumb.
Yeah, right. She like looks at the phone and tells you like telepathically how to fix it.
Well, she just looks at me like, why are you asking me this simple, dumb question, Dad?
So, I mean, but it makes sense though. Like it makes sense for what Elon is trying to do.
Yeah. Well,
hear me out, because there's something there's a key point to this. So for what Elon Musk is trying to do with the government and the whole pyramid principle of what Doge is actually supposed to be, it is to make the government efficient. Government efficiency. That's what the GE stands for.
Yeah.
So and to take AI and say, hey, AI, here's all of this. Please recalibrate it so that it is more efficient and show me all of the errors that have been made.
Right.
And you can weed out everything. So don't everybody that says Big Balls is 19 and he has all my information, fuck you. China has all your information, all right?
Right.
So
after they wrote about it on TikTok.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I mean, everything you put on Facebook, Instagram, all that bullshit, China already knows.
Well, let's be clear. First off, everything they've done is something that was started under the Obama administration. None of this shit is new.
Yep.
And every president since Obama has promised to do this.
Well, technically, it goes back to 1990s. 94, 96.
Yeah, it's back in Clinton, but the concept of Doge came from a specific request by Barack Obama. It was a executive order, and all Trump did was take that executive order and implement it. That's all he did. He's not doing anything extra legal. He's not going outside of the parameters of the Constitution. And if you don't think I'm right, look at every damn lawsuit that they've tried to throw at him. They've all lost. Every one of them.
Every one of them.
And you know what? They're going to keep losing. And it's going to make them crazier and crazier and crazier. And the only reason they don't want it to happen is because they understand now the game is up.
Right.
The slush fund's gone. The party and look at how these Politico couldn't make its payroll. I wonder why. They couldn't pay their writers.
Well, I mean, you saw
somebody took away their money.
You saw what USAID was actually doing with that. They were paying Politico.
Yeah, amongst other things.
Yeah.
I don't, and if you're one of those people who hates that way, and you're like, rah, 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 I can't believe, I don't understand how you can't be in favor of getting rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. And by the way, VA, your days are numbered.
Yeah,
It's coming your way soon. And I've been sending emails. I got Elon on speed dial, bitches. Oh, I'm taking names and I'm dropping them off at the curb. I'm like, here's some trash for you guys to pick up on.
Right.
I can't wait till they get to the Dallas VA.
Yeah, no kidding.
I can't wait.
And so, and here's something that, okay, so me and Chris had a conversation earlier, but off camera, about, I'm going to lay this out there. First off, I am not on one side of the fence or the other. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I don't find myself to ever be. I'm a constitutionalist that believes that the Constitution is the law of the land. Here's a few things that I will say. And I know Daddy Bro is like, no, if you got to be one way or the other. I love what is happening right now. I love it. There are key points of every administration that I have ever seen in my 40 years of being on this lovely earth.
Puppy.
There are key things. I know I'm young. So 40 years young. There are key things that I've heard government or officials say, presidents say, whatever, that I'm like, that's fantastic. I love what I hear. But then you look at the actions and the actions don't match the words. Now,
what?
I can go
they
through.
Lie? No.
I know, right? When you look back, I can look back over the past 40 years and say every government official has done the same thing. So when I say that Donald Trump is the one president that has sat here and said, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. He has put it all out there transparently and said, this is what I'm going to do. And he has done it. And then whenever he does it, you guys are like, oh my gosh, what? No. Who are you fooled by? Like, what are you fooled by? It doesn't make any sense. So I'm a constitutionalist at heart. I love the Constitution. I think the Constitution is the greatest piece of literature written in American history. Nobody can ever argue that with me. Okay. Now, a lot of the things that were done at that time, I think should still be implemented today. A lot of it. Okay. I think the government should stay the fuck out of everybody's life. I don't think they should be in your marriage. I don't think they should be in your car. I don't think they should be in your property. I don't think they should be in the groceries that you buy. I don't believe that any of that shit should be regulated whatsoever by what the government has to say. They should stay the fuck out of it. All right. Now, what I will say, okay, is the taxes, bullshit. If you want to go hunting, bullshit. They won't let you do that unless you buy a license. Why? Because it's a revenue starter. It brings the states and federal government revenue. And if you don't do it, then you get cited by the state or the federal. And it is stupid. They need to stay the fuck out of that. Every person should be able to build a farm on their land without any restrictions whatsoever. If you need to capture water, capture rainwater. But I tell you right now, you might want to actually sanitize it before you do so. You shouldn't be told that you could have to go to the city to actually get your water. That's bullshit. Okay? Build your farms, build your crops, build whatever you need to do. Go hunting, go fishing. They shouldn't say anything. Your marriage, that's on you and the person that you're with.
You're from Iowa, aren't you?
No, I'm from right here in Texas.
Are you from here? Okay.
Yeah, born and raised. So if you
explains a lot.
Born and raised. So if you want to own a gun, you own a gun. Government has no right to get into it or interfere with that. All right. Now, if you committed crimes, if you committed felonies, I do believe that they have every right in the world to actually come after you.
Naughty.
Yeah. So there's that. You commit a crime, they have the right to do what they do. But if you are a law-abiding citizen of the United States of America, you shouldn't be bothered one bit about anything. Any kind of revenue starter that's for the state or anything like that needs to be gone, out the window, out the door. They need to find other means. Now, that I needed to say this because me and Chris did talk about it. All right. I don't want anybody to ever think that I lean left or I lean right. I am directly in the middle. I want to see the government doing the right thing. And by God, if you do anything outside of that, I'm going to say something. I'm not tiptoeing anything though. I'm actually putting it all out there.
No,
and
no, I'm
exactly
saying
how I feel.
You pulse. You're a pulse. I get it. If the water's too cold on this side, I can't stand it. I get it. I understand it. I just don't.
Never once have I ever leaned one way or the other.
And I'll be honest with you. You know what you actually sound like? You actually sound like a small state conservative. That's what a little C conservative. That's what I am.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's where I lean. But
I think that the government needs to be out of everything.
Well, sure, and that's what conservatives believe too. They believe that you're smarter than the government. Duh.
Yeah.
And proof is in the punch. 96% of the people who work for the federal government don't go to their job today. What the hell is that?
Yeah, that's stupidity. That's what that is.
No, so, that is the system being used to do that. So they're being allowed to.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like it's system abuse, and that's why I think the government needs to be cut. Probably 90% of the government could actually be cut, and we would be fine.
If you look at what Elon did with Twitter, he fired 80% of his staff, and it's still doing fine.
Yeah.
He has a track record of doing. What's upsetting to me, where I struggle is I make the mistake of getting on Facebook because it brings my blood pressure to a boil. And I hear these dumbasses, and I'm going to use the term dumbass because that's what you people are that are saying this to me. Elon Musk is trying to steal money.
No, he's not.
He has $400 billion. He doesn't.
What does he need to steal?
Money.
Was it Socrates that used the term idiots?
Yes.
Like he called everybody idiots, and it was.
And he was right.
And what he was doing though is he wasn't belittling anybody.
No,
he was telling they're idiots because they were ignorant about what they were trying to speak to, and they had no idea what was. So that's where the term but
idiot,
everybody takes that term idiot to like a different level, right?
Well,
like
they take it as really taking it to a new level lately.
Yeah, but that's what. There's a lot of stuff I don't speak on because I'd be ignorant to do so because I haven't done like the background or whatever.
I'm good at all that crap. So,
well, I'm just saying, like I understand it a little bit, but like there's certain areas.
I'm a master debater. Let's do this.
You're a master debater. It's more like
master debater.
But if I haven't spent time to actually go like read about it and learn about it or whatever, like if it's not one of those topics that I know a lot about, then I'd rather not. Debate,
and there's nothing wrong with that. And you're actually, what is it? I believe it was Plato that said, why open your mouth and confirm your ignorance? Why not stand in silence? Therefore your opponents aren't sure.
Exactly. Like and that's the smart way.
No, I get it. And for me though, I'm very passionate about this stuff because I know what it is to have to pay a lot of taxes, and I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the border situation, not only because I live in Texas, but because I pay a lot of taxes.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you have money. And I'll tell you, this is another thing I've been saying to everybody who's a leftist who's been bitching about Elon. When those checks come out from Doge, you better
send them back.
Send them to the IRS. Mm-hmm. Better yet, send them to Mexico because they need the money. And I don't want to hear you bitching about it. And I don't want to hear a word. The one that's killing me is, where's your proof? What do you mean, where's my proof? They're talking about it. They're having a conversation right there in front of you.
Well, on camera.
I didn't see the 15,000 pages of paper. You wouldn't know what you were looking at if you saw it.
Yeah, exactly.
So shut the hell up.
Yep.
Stop talking like you know something because I know you don't. I know these idiots. I know a lot of these people. They're just, they're the lowest common denominator stupid in the world.
If you're that worried about,
is the proper term.
If you're that worried about helping people, do a favor for veterans and take that $5,000 you get and go buy a small home and give it to somebody that doesn't have a house.
Yeah, or better yet, give it to a nonprofit like Psych Ward here.
Seriously, like roll to Hills, VD4GM. We'll take it.
Give them your money. You want to help out. You really want to do something good for the world. Help vets. Because I'll tell you right now, I am done funding foreign wars. I am done sending money to foreign countries so that they learn how to properly put on a condom.
Yep.
And how to wash themselves properly. If you don't know by now, you're not going to freaking learn. Sorry, you're dumb. And Darwin needs to do its job.
I did not say that, Chris.
If you think we're taking good care of our veterans, go to San Diego County right now and start counting.
Mm-hmm.
There's 1.3 million right now. 1.3 million people in San Diego. One county in California, 1.3 million homeless people. and 95% of them are homeless vets. How do I know this? I did a paper on it. I can extrapolate the information from the paper that I did years ago, but it's common knowledge. They have turned it into a damn industry.
Yeah.
They don't help anybody.
Nope.
All they're doing is lining their pockets, and we need to stop that. Exactly. And all that has happened in the last couple, it's been a whopping 1 month of his presidency, roughly.
Yeah. 30 days. Well, 32 days now.
He's upset this cart so bad that they don't know what the hell to do about it because they've never seen anything like this.
Yep.
Now, is he the best thing in the world since sliced bread? No, he's not.
Nope.
He's a populist, which makes, in my humble opinion, I don't like populists. How do I know that? I recall what Theodore Roosevelt did. Now, a lot of people like Teddy Roosevelt. I happen to hate him because he's a Roosevelt.
Yeah.
I have anything that says Roosevelt or Kennedy. I don't want to have anything to do with you. And I'm sorry, Robert F. Jr. I think you're a good guy. I still don't like you because you're a Kennedy. And I know who your dad was, and he was a pig, frankly. And I'm sad that he got shot. I don't believe anybody deserves to die that way, but not the worst thing that could happen in the world.
Yep.
Every time a Kennedy dies, I throw a party, by the way. Just saying that. I really hate the Kennedys because they are this power family of corrupt bastards who made their money off of running illegal moonshine. Good for you. You're a thug. Great. Why should we found things off of you? And you know what? This is another thing that pissed me. I've been thinking about this. You mentioned the fact that these kids are like 19, 20, 21 years old, right?
Yep.
That are running this Doge thing. Let me riddle me this, Batman. You say 19, 20, and 21-year-old guys don't know anything. How old was Thomas Jefferson when he wrote the Declaration of Independence? Do you know?
I thought he was in his 20s. Like
he was in his 20s.
Yeah, he was in his
Thomas
20s.
Paine was 19. George Washington was the old man of the group. Yeah, most of them were in their. Most of the guys, most of the founding fathers, outside of like Ben Franklin, they were in their 20s.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me again how a 20-year-old can't know something. I mean, give me a freaking break.
Right.
Age is a number.
Yeah, that all comes back to like what you do with yourself and how you want to teach yourself and then also how you're brought up and all that
right.
stuff.
And are you on the cutting edge in terms of societal evolution? Are you on the cutting edge of technology?
Yep.
And because I can tell you, it took me to get to my 30s, because I learned a lot of stuff on my own. Like it took me to get to my 30s to actually like get to a point where I felt like I was
smart,
fairly smart.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, like, and then of course it got better and better over time and, you know, all that stuff. But there's some people though that I've met in my life that are brilliant people, like in the
I
teams.
appreciate that.
That was good.
It's
that
true.
Was good.
When he gets done with this point, I'm going to tell you guys a story.
Oh no, that was fantastic. Well done.
But there's plenty of people I've met that are brilliant.
Golf clap.
In their perspective areas.
Yes.
Right, but then you put them into another area that they like,
and they're dumb.
Yeah, they're completely. Yeah.
Yep. Well, that's why Jackson. That's why Jackson. Okay, everybody needs to learn the actual wording for this. A jack of a trade, okay, or jack of no trades, is better than a jack of one.
Right.
Is how that actually goes. I'd much rather be a jack of trades.
I like a jack of the trades. That's what I.
A jack of trades is better than a master of one, because it's so true.
There is a point though where you can master a lot of things and be able to bounce those items off of others to help you, like as you grow in life. Like,
yeah. Well, absolutely.
And that comes back to what
which
you
is
said
why,
earlier, Daddy Bros, like the amount of hours that you have to put in.
It's why this hodgepodge of veterans that we have here, that's why it works, because we throw ideas and shit off each other. Like we all know that you're the book nerd. Like we get
that. one of the things that I've followed, and this was from a professor.
86 feet tall.
And it was, of all places, it was at a community college, right? So it wasn't even one of the big four colleges I went to. But he came into class the first day of class. It was a
I threw him off his game.
I'm trying to think of the course it was. It was anyhow. It was a course about philosophy. It was a philosophy course, and it was a higher level philosophy course. And he came in and he said, "Who all in here is an expert of tables?" And there's a couple people like rose their hands or whatever because they'd been around. Like, well, his first question was, "How many people in here feel like they know what a table is?" And like everybody was rose their hand. And he said, "Okay, how many of you know like how tables are created?" And a few people rose their hands. And he said, "Okay, how many of you have like built a table?" And a couple people raised their hands. And he said, "Okay, how many in here are experts of tables?" And there was like 4 people that raised their hands. And he pointed at one of the 4 and he said, "What was the first table ever created and used?" And the guy couldn't answer it. And he said, "You're an idiot." And like that's how he started the course, right? And so so
like
that's where I
classes.
learned, right? Was like in order to be an expert of tables, you have to know what was the first table ever created and how do you get to tables now from where they were before, right? Like and that's where philosophy comes in, right? Like understanding the actual like root knowledge of where something came from.
Right.
So if you go to school for an MBA or you go to school for like whatever it is you're going to, like you're learning all of that knowledge that other people have learned over the years that allows you to take that information and then apply it properly and all that stuff, because you no longer have to like go back and teach yourself that. You're learning over accumulation of years and years and years of knowledge that has gotten to that point. So anyways, that's where I got that. Like that again, going back to my stance on like, if I don't know something really, really well, more than likely I'm not going to speak on it. Like just because I want to say, and if it is something I want to talk about, I'll say, "Hey, I'll be back in a week." Like, because I'm going to go study up on it. You know what I mean?
Yep. Well, you guys know what PhD actually stands for, right?
Pretty huge. Sorry.
Posto digger?
No, piled high and deep. Basically piled high and deep. And what that means is you're an expert in a very specific field. Like I have a friend who works at the Smithsonian. Hi, Samantha. How you doing? You know what her PhD's in? Her PhD is in like Hallmark cards. Like cards like that. Did you know that goes all the way back to the Roman times? I had no idea. But she knew it. She studied it.
Like stock cards and stuff like that.
Yeah, like roses are red, violets are blue, like the shit you get for Valentine's Day, the birthday cards and all those things.
Except back then it was on tablets.
Yeah, no. It was actually on a wax thing. Okay. I don't know. But the only reason I know anything about this is because she curates, I think it's called. Yeah. She's the one who makes sure that the shit stays where it's supposed to be, and she researches it and she brings new pieces in, and she's absolutely brilliant when it comes to this stuff. Ask her who the president of the United States is. She couldn't tell you. Ask her what a gallon of gas or a thing of eggs costs. She won't have a clue.
Yeah.
And the difference between, and you mentioned earlier, and I was playing, but I'm really not. Smart people do smart things. Okay. Mm-hmm. When I was 8 years old, I was that you ever what's that show with Michael J. Fox when he was a kid? Family Ties, I think it's called.
Family,
Family I think it's Family Ties, where he used to carry an attaché case to school.
Yep,
that was me, literally. And people used to make fun of me and taunt me and tease me because I was a little skinny. I was like a $105 soaking wet. And as I grew and got smarter, I was doing stuff at the collegiate level as an eighth grader, you know. I took differential calculus as a freshman in high school. They don't even teach that till you're in like your second or third year of like engineering school. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was doing that I got in trouble at university because I was doing differential calculus in my head without showing my work. And the professor was pissed because he couldn't figure it out.
Yep.
I had to do an oral board for my Def EQ class because they thought I was cheating.
Yep.
And when I went before the dean of the school and they throw a question at me and I'd literally stand there and rattle off the answer. He looked at the professor and he goes, "Why are you wasting our time? This kid obviously knows what the hell he's doing. Mm-hmm. Let it go." And I'm not trying to say I'm smart. It's not about intelligence. It's about having a fundamental understanding at a level that other people don't. Mm-hmm. Okay. Some of us, and I'm putting my hand up, I'm willing to wager that I think faster when I'm asleep than most people do fully conscious. That's probably why I don't sleep very much. It's just one of those things. And it's not even and it's what's so frustrating because people like Elon Musk is a great example. They don't understand how this crazy guy does what he does or why he speaks and acts the way he does. Like when they said, "Oh, he gave a Hitler salute." No, he didn't do a Hitler salute.
He did not.
First off, that's not what he did. He did something else, and realized that people like that, he is probably pretty autistic. My guess.
But he went to his heart.
Yeah,
he went to his heart, and then he just kind of waved.
Right.
He just put his hand out to wave.
The other one that kills me is they talk about the Roman salute, right?
Yeah,
like,
the Roman
guess
salute.
what? That's not even a thing.
Yeah.
Did you know that? You know who actually
Yeah.
developed that? That was Mussolini. There is no such thing as the Romans never did Hail Caesar. They never did that. That's not a thing. And that's not my guess. That's an actual historical fact. They've looked for it. It doesn't freaking exist. It's something that Mussolini developed. And they
I didn't know Mussolini. I didn't know he did.
Yeah, the fascists used
but
to
I knew that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, the black shirts did that. Yeah, and they call that's where the concept of the Italian salute comes from.
Yeah.
And they said they got it from the ancient Romans. Well, guess what? The Romans never did it, and we know this because they've researched it, which is so frustrating. But the bottom line is, the people, they don't understand people that think like this because they can't. People who are like this, they just look at it in a different level.
Yeah.
And it's like using ChatGPT, right? If you get really good at prompts, like you are, Psych Ward, you're gonna make yourselves. You're gonna be a wealthy person. You are. Because most people are too dumb, frankly, to do it. They're too lazy. We don't understand the gratification in this world anymore. We have no concept of putting things off because we want it right now, and we want it the easy way. Nobody wants to work for it.
Right.
The prompt simply came from what you talked about earlier with my mind not being able to sit. I was sitting down, like TV was going, kids are doing a thing. I'm like messing around on emails on my phone and like listening to TV, right? Like taking care of like multiple things at once and like trying to keep up with I think it was like a D&D thing I was watching, and the guy started talking about it went to another video that I didn't even like choose. It just went to another video. And that video started talking about AI stuff. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Put the phone down, right? Like listen for a second. And I was like, oh, they just talked about like AI stuff. And he gave like an example. And I was like, that can't be hard to do. So I like paused it and like looked on my phone and I was like, what's this AI stuff all about? And like, I've never used ChatGPT before. So then I go back to YouTube and I was like, look up, because I'm in the nonprofit mindset, look up like using AI for grant funding. And I did it, and then they started talking about it. And I was like, okay. So I went and sat down at the computer, and like I was like, well, we need bylaws. And so I was like, this is what we need in our bylaws. And I like typed it out and hit enter, and like boom, there it was. And it was like, wow, that was easy. And I was like, well, change this or tweak that. And like within 3 iterations, I got to a point where like I understood how to write a prompt, like because I saw what worked and what didn't work. It was from that like not being able to sit still and like listening to everything that's going on all the time and trying to better myself too. Like, oh, that's something new. Let me go try it. Like.
Well, this is something in your generation and my generation that it does not exist in the current generation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The kids coming up today have the attention span smaller than a doorknob.
Yeah.
And that's just a fact. It's not me being mean. It's not me making fun. I get all the time. You know how they like to taunt the different generations. They talk about the boomers, and then they 9 times out of 10
Xers.
They try to stay away from Gen X. Do you know why? Because we're the last feral generation, and we will kick your ass.
Yeah.
That's why. You say shit to us, you F around, you're gonna find out. We're gonna punch you right in the mouth.
People don't understand.
Hey,
like
speaking
the generation we came from was like when I went home one day and told my dad I was going to get my ears pierced, he said, "Go out in the garage and get a block of wood, and I'll do it with this nail for you."
Yes, sir.
If you want to get that done, I'll do it for you. But this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And so that was the generation I was raised by, right? Which is like what then taught me.
If the street lights were on, your ass better be heading to the house.
Street lights. Who had street lights?
Yeah.
That's like you never told your parents that you were bored.
Yeah, no.
That was a bad idea. I did that once or twice, and I ended up fencing. Like, I told my dad one time during the summer, I was like, yeah, my friends are busy, like I don't have anything to do, and he's like, come with me, and I ended up fencing 5.5 acres.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so
so like for example, one of the things for me, everybody talks about Saturday morning cartoons, right? I love Saturday morning cartoons. Here's the only problem. There was a very strict rule in my house. The sun's up, your ass better be out of the house.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see you till the sun comes down.
That's why that's why I had to wake up at 5 o'clock on Saturday morning, because the sun wasn't up yet.
Yeah, well, pretty much
See,
the
I
rule
could
of
watch.
thumb.
I
Yeah,
could watch cartoons at that point.
if you're not gone by the time sun's up, someone's gonna put your ass to work.
Yep.
And my folks, you know, it was pretty simple. They don't want to see you till the sun comes down. If I need you, I'll whistle. And my dad had a very distinct whistle. He whistled. You know what it was? It was time to run home and see what was going on because something serious was up.
Mhm.
And if you didn't get there in a certain period of time, you better be ready because the belt's coming.
I played in creeks. I used to go.
Oh, I grew up
trumpet.
next to a creek.
Yeah, yeah. We used to take. So we had like a an inflatable boat
Dolly?
thing that it was one of the things that you throw in a pool. And
Oh,
we
yeah.
used to, when it would rain, we would take that thing and go ride in the rapids in the stream because that's what it was like.
Oh,
It
my
was
God.
like riding the rapids. And
We
so, I mean, we 5-foot ramps with our bicycles.
Oh, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I still got scars.
Oh,
I,
man.
I
I'm missing a tooth because of it. Right here.
I modified a skateboard once with RC wheels, like the big off-road
Nice.
RC wheels, and like put like spacers on the trucks. And I was like one of the first kids to have an off-road skateboard because all the other kids rode mountain bikes, and I wanted a skateboard.
Nice.
That's awesome. I just I weep for the generations coming up because there's a handful of them that get it, right?
Yep.
And these kids are going to be really successful. They're going to be top of the world. They're going to run this show. But honestly, I'm mad at my generation because we haven't stood up. We need to look, the people in Washington right now, they're not from my generation. They're a little bit older. Yep. They need to go. All of them need to go. Oh. They need to someone's in trouble.
Yep, right.
They need to go now. Yeah. Because we can't tolerate this nonsense anymore. We can't. And they don't understand because we have a crossover right now where we understand stuff that they could spend the next 20 years trying to learn and they still won't get it. Yep. And it's not that they're dumb, it's that they've been raised differently. You know, they've come up in a different time period. Yeah. And that just makes it really hard, you know. I don't know.
I agree. So I think this is an awesome stream. I know that you want to get to your next one.
That's all good.
I mean, if that's the case,
I got a couple minutes. I got to check on the wife in a minute. So
yeah, okay, good. Well, I'm not gonna halt that. So, anyways, all right. Well, with that though, we had a good stream. Got to talk about a little bit of everything, a little D&D, a little AI.
I'm really glad that he started doing the Chat GPT thing. I think that's fantastic.
Oh, dude,
he saved you a lot of time, didn't it?
Oh man. So I was the one that's like, yeah, I'll write them out. I'll do all the research and everything, and I'll look for it. Man, the next day he's messaging me, "Hey, I already got the bylaws done." I was like, "What?
Why work that hard?" I mean,
that's what he said. That's what
well,
he said.
I mean, I know you Army guys are all about eating the crayons and stuff, but
no, that's Navy, Marines.
Okay, that's whatever. But less bang bang.
We like the markers. All right.
That's right. In the Navy, it's work smarter, not harder. That's our philosophy, and I'm all about it because if you can use technology that way, you should.
All right,
frankly.
No, I agree.
I'm really glad you guys did.
Yep. So yeah, it worked out great, fantastic. I loved it. This stream was actually probably one of the most chill streams that we've done in a while.
Yeah, my blood pressure's not too high yet.
Yeah, well. I mean, mine had to go up there for a little bit, but that was just to lay down some foundation work for everybody to understand. Like,
yeah, no, I get it. I still don't like you toe tipping around like.
I don't.
Come to the dark side. We have cookies, baby.
Yeah, no, I don't. Right now, I enjoy what's going on that side.
Well, then you are definitely a conservative. You just don't. You're not there yet, but I will bring you to the dark side.
I do have a lot of conservative views. I do.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I don't see. You have to remember though, I do have native in me, so there's a little bit of that native in me that's like questions. So at the same time, I still am able to look at the Constitution and say, look, this right here, this is it. This is we should live by the law of the land, not by the law that's governed to us.
We haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah, and that's the problem. I don't think anybody has stood up.
Well, no, not till and look, to his credit, he surprised me. I'm not gonna lie. I've been very concerned since the first go around. I was concerned. But a lot of and you're gonna and for those of you who are watching this in the later times, you are gonna see a lot of naysayers. You're gonna see a lot of doom and gloom. You're gonna see a lot of what I call speech porn, where they're gonna make it sound like they're blaming him for plane crashes in Canada.
Yeah,
really, really. They hit the ground too hard, dumbass. You can see it pretty plainly on the video.
Even I said that, and I'm not a pilot.
Yeah, neither am I. But I know enough about it that when you hit it at 120 knots, it's probably not going to end well for you.
Right, exactly.
And it's just they're going to blame him where they can. They're going to bitch about the eggs and chicken thing. What they don't understand is the last guy didn't do anything about it either.
Yeah.
And not only that, economics doesn't work that way. And if you don't understand that, well, then you don't understand that. I get it. You're kind of dumb.
Yep.
Sorry. I call a spade a spade.
Exactly. And even I'm able to sit back and say, hey, look, like this shit was happening before Trump.
Yep. And you can't, there's certain things in the world you can't control. You cannot control pandemics all that well, usually. You
definitely can't control pandemics whenever you have somebody like Anthony fuck-nose Fauci.
Well, we don't have him anymore, thankfully.
Well, not anymore. I mean, we should give him to Russia. But anyways.
Well, no, what they should do is put him before a squad and hook it up. But I'm still waiting for that video show called Tier 1 to start.
Yeah.
I want 10%, damn it.
But so if you looked at Trump's whole presidency, though, he actually was taking the deficit down.
No.
Right? Yeah, it's crazy. His first thing, he was actually taking the deficit down. Government spending was way down. And on top of that, the only time that in his entire presidency that it ever spiked was, let me guess, March 2020. What happened March 2020? That was when he started saying, hey, look, we need to print money to send to Americans. We need to get people to spend money.
Stimulation. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't believe in doing stuff like that either.
Yeah, well, I mean, but he did it because that's what he was being told. Hey,
right, and he was being told by people he thought were smart, and they just weren't.
Yeah,
and the bottom line is, I believe he learned a lot from the first go round.
He did.
And what's upset these liberals especially is they thought because they could manipulate the first go round, they were going to get away with it again. And he's a business guy, and what they're good at doing is trial and error.
Yeah,
they're really good at learning from mistakes, and when they come back hard. And
especially Trump, that's made mistakes and filed for bankruptcy in companies.
Yeah. And
so he knows.
Hate on Elon. You can hate on Elon Musk all you want. You can call him whatever name you want to call him. I don't think he's going to care.
Yep.
No, he doesn't want to steal your money. He doesn't want your granny's Medicaid. What he wants to do is hold to the concept that he believes that America stands for.
Sorry, I just saw that you're back.
We were just waiting for you to come back.
Yeah.
We're going to close out, I think.
Yeah,
but he got me on a tangent, damn it.
Yeah.
We were going back and forth. Yeah. So
anyway, so we'll see where this all pans out. And again, if you're one of those dipshits who hates on what's going on, when that check comes, do me a favor, sign it over to VD4 or VD4GM. Yes. Send it to us. We'll take it. We'll take care of it. We'll do something good with it.
Yeah.
Seriously. If you don't want to give it to us, give it to another nonprofit. That's not one of the big ones.
Roll to Hills. Roll to Hills is another good one. Yep. Yeah. We got two of them.
Seriously, give it to a if you want to be that way, put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
And if you don't, if you keep it, I'm going to call you hypocrite because that's what you are.
And we can bring it up at a later, like at the next podcast or whatever. That was one thing too that we didn't touch on was that I think we've decided that VD4GM is going to service the veterans only, and it's going to be more of like the therapeutic side.
Okay.
Where Roll to Heal is going to be the still therapeutic, but not like actually having a therapist sit at the table. Like it's more of like getting the veterans and the first responders at the table and trying to help them out that way.
Kind of like a social thing.
More than a social, because the DMs are going to be trained on how to look for like PTSD and all, like how the PTSD triggers and whatever's going on, like how to respond to it. So it's going to be a little bit more than just social, but it's also not going to be like you're sitting at a table with a therapist.
Just
so-
one thing I would suggest: make sure tonight you don't spend 10 hours writing out plots with Chat GPT. Okay.
I was doing it from my phone in bed.
I know you are. I know you are, because I can see you just losing yourself in this for the next 6 months. Don't do it.
Right.
No,
there.
I'm just very like, because I'll get an idea and I'll be like, what will this do? Like,
So I'll tell you what. When I started playing around with AI, what I did was I had a little notebook I carry around, and you're gonna have these random thoughts pop in your head. Write them down. Just write them down. And then when you get a little block of time where you have nothing, where you can, and I know it's hard because you got small kids, because I've been there. When you get a block of time where you can kind of put aside, then you go and you figure out what your booleans are for those specific concepts. You bang them out at one shot, and you got yourself, maybe a year's worth of DM material.
I've already started a book. Yeah.
Oh, I know you did.
Because I have a book that's for all of my entrepreneurship ideas. And then I now have a book of what do I want to do with like the AI prompts. So yeah.
Well, you're going to be like Pinky in the Brain before too long. I can see it already. Gave him a new damn toy.
Yep.
Jesus.
That's right.
We're all doomed.
Oh well.
All right. Well, fantastic. I love this this podcast today. Tonight's was not near as blood pressury as usual. Yeah, it's refreshing.
Now I can go kill some zombies and feel good about myself.
There you go. The zombies that were promised from 2020, though.
Yeah, no, let me tell you, I'm looking, hey, if anybody's a modder and State of Decay 2, do me a favor, build a mod where I can put Democratic Party heads on zombies. I would pay top dollar for that shit.
You know how bad that'd be, though, if you were super tired and you fell asleep at the computer and you woke up with Nancy Pelosi standing in front of you?
Right?
Yeah,
Talking about nightmares.
Yeah. That wasn't nightmare enough for you?
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll take my chances, though.
Yeah.
I'm
So
pretty good
anyway,
with baseball bat.
Yeah, right. All right, ladies and gents, boys and girls, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Again, we're really big on helping our veterans. So if you are suffering from PTSD, if you are having problems, if you're thinking about, doing the dirt nap, don't do it. Talk to one of us. We are here for you. Okay. You are loved. You are cared for. And there's just so much more to life than doing something like that. So I know that our favorite Coast Guard down here, I pick on him all the time, but he's right about one thing. 988 press 1. All right. And then absolutely, we're gonna go over to this guy. Well, first we'll let this one down here talk, and then we'll go to this guy over here. So yeah, what you got for us, Blackboard?
Write a prompt as to why you shouldn't do it if you're going to do it.
Oh, you stole one. I was going to say that. Good one.
There you go. That's a good one, actually. That's a good one. All right. So fantastic. All right. So everybody's favorite Navy guy sitting right over here. The Brainiac.
Guys, make sure you get yourself something good to eat. Get yourself something good to drink. Hug the people in your life, because you never know how long you're going to have them. And last but not least, if you need help, get help. Getting help does not make you weak. In fact, makes you strong. And if you have any doubts about that, ask ChatGPT. It'll tell you. Yeah.
There you go.
Promise you it will.
Grok 3.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You can go there too. All right, guys. Take care. I'll talk to you later.
Y'all have a good one.